you have to be able to do everything.
Yeah.
And if you can't believe you can do everything, then you're just going to stagnate and you're just going to do a lot of waiting for things to get done. And things are a lot simpler than they seem. You just have to be always proactively thinking of what you can do and where to put your energy and what is going to have the biggest impact.
Yeah.
But it's so much of it is mindset around thinking you can do it, because if you don't, then you won't even start. You'll like see the whole thing and you just get overwhelmed instead of breaking it down and say, okay, what can I do now with what I have? And then, so you don't have any money, just social media is free, practice that. You know, a lot of things you don't need money to do, you can just get good at.
One thing that I really struggle with for a while, and especially because I do my own YouTube videos as well, with that I would always try way too hard to have like a perfect coherent product before I would post anything. So I would want like, you know, all my Instagram photos to be like the exact right aesthetic, and then like
they are. On your personal account, they are.
Well, yeah, and that's why I only have like 30 photos, because I spend so long trying to like get a good one and then make the colors all nice and stuff. Whereas on this account, on our gym account, you know, they're not quite as perfect, but we have like 500 photos, and that's why we have so many more followers on this account. It's because we just actually produce the content and aren't so caught up in, because there's two of us, we can't be caught up in it, because we can't be going back and forth with each other saying like, oh, what do you think of this photo? It's like, is this caption okay? It's like, you just got to do it. You can't like, yeah, we'll grab each other's input here and there, but if you were to send me a photo, I can't just like pick it apart and be like, oh no, this needs to be retaken. I don't like you don't have time to do that. Otherwise you're just never going to post anything.
Exactly.
So yeah, that comes back to what I was saying before about the business side of things, is that you just sort of have to start something and then perfect it as you go. So it's the same thing. You can't pick every little thing apart. For example, recently we started doing our classes. We didn't know what times we were going to run them. We didn't know how much we were going to charge for them. We didn't know what we were going to...
Pretty much didn't know anything. Like,
exactly.
We've never run classes, never done small group training. Like, neither of us have experience coaching, that sort of thing. I've never been to... Well, what we're doing is a bit different, but like we've never been to like a F45 class or anything like that. But what we're doing is pretty different, but you're just trying to find out along the way what we're trying to make, and how it's going to work. But you just got to start asking that questions. Like it took us like a month of just thinking about it and like slowly talking and figuring it out. And each day I'm like, oh, there'd be one thing that would come up. Like, oh, we could try this. Like this would work. Or originally we didn't see ourselves as like, oh, that's not really us, it's not our gym. It's like, no, we're just putting ourselves in this box and we're really restricting ourselves by saying we don't have the experience, we don't have that. It was like, actually, no, we can create something completely unique that we think people will get a lot more value out of than just 30 people getting thrashed for an hour, not much attention to detail. Like we can create something better, in our opinion, where people can actually learn and progress and actually be supported doing it. That we didn't figure that out straight away. We had no idea at all. We just knew that we can't restrict ourselves and not do that.
Even doing that, we were a bit hesitant to start it because we were saying, oh, we can't start it with only one time slot per day, or like not even doing it every day of the week. And we ended up just saying, well, there's no other way. We just have to start it 3 days a week, once per day. So we did, and then almost straight away we started the extra 2 days, and now we're doing Monday to Friday, and then now we're reviewing like what we're actually providing in these classes. We're looking at the numbers, we're looking at pricing, so it's just constantly changing, but it can't happen if we tried to get it perfect from the start. It's never going to be perfect from the start.
Exactly. And we realise we do have the resources. We have a great coach here who does have experience with training people and doing the small group coaching, as well as having a lot of knowledge around strength training, and so we realise we can provide that. Now we are starting, we're just getting feedback. Like I've been talking to people when I've been doing it. I've been doing it a couple of days a week, and just like getting that honest feedback from the people taking the class. Like, give me some criticism. What did you like? What didn't you like? And on Monday, it's like, oh, a bit more structure with the warm-up. Sweet, I can fix that. There's no reason I can't fix that. But anyway, the point of that is just start. Just get it going, and you'll figure it out as you go. And if you're worried about being perfect, you're not going to start. You're going to get analysis paralysis, and I did that a lot at this initially when I started posting things, and I get criticism, and people wouldn't be on board with what I was doing, and it was like, oh, is this okay? No, I don't like that. That's wrong. You can't do that. And it's like nothing got done for a long time. When nothing got done, I stopped caring. Like we need to just do it. Like you could have the best thing in the world, like Ryan's Instagram account with 30 perfect photos, but if no one knows that, this is not a dig at your account at all, if no one knows about it, it doesn't matter. And if you post once every 2 weeks, no one's going to know what you're about, no one's going to know who you are, what you stand for, or what your product is, which obviously is training at our gym. That it doesn't matter. Like
almost anything is better than nothing. Very rarely is nothing going to be your best option.
And it's so simple. Like, what would I post? Like, just find things you can consistently post.
Yeah.
Monday I post a quote, or I share a mix or something, or I do something. And that's where I get lost, is on the business side of things. It's what can I do? No problem posting things on social media. Like, that's easy for me, but like, what's the highest priority? Where do I put my energy today? What would make the most use of it? I was like, it can be overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, and it's hard looking at a blank caption on an Instagram photo, or like you want to make a YouTube video, but where do you start? You're just holding a camera in your hand and you don't even have any ideas. I think the best thing to do in that situation, what I would do when I was practicing like photography or doing videos, you literally just take a photo of anything, like any single thing, and try and make it look cool. And then from there, you literally will just start getting ideas. So just walking around the gym, I'll take a photo of a piece of equipment. If I can't think of anything to post on Instagram, for example, I'll take a photo of a piece of equipment, like, oh, that looks terrible because it's just a random photo that no thought went into. What if I maybe go from over here and shoot through something to frame it up a bit? And then you're like, oh, that looks really cool. Oh, this light's actually hitting it from over this way. And it's like, you just build on pretty much nothing. It's the same with writing as well. So thinking about what we're going to talk about in these podcasts even. So we start off with basically nothing.
And it works better for me, probably not for you, but...
Yeah, we don't structure it, but it's just some basic points. Like literally start with anything. You just have to start, and then you just build off that first idea. The first idea doesn't have to be anything good. You can just say, well, today we said, oh, let's talk about business, how to start in business and how to grow.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just snowballs.
It doesn't have to be perfect. And these chats or these podcasts are a perfect example of that. Like, if you watch the first two, you can tell there's no real structure, but we do get in the flow of certain things, and then it naturally happens, but also there is a lot of mistakes, and it's not perfect, and you look back on it, you're like, oh, why did I say that? Or maybe this will come across the wrong way or whatever, and you can't get caught up in that, because you've just got to do it, and you just got to put it out there. Otherwise you won't do anything, and you're just going to regret it. And there's nothing worse than wasting time regretting things and knowing that, oh, maybe I could have done this. Like, it's always going to nag in the back of your head. Like, it's just taken us a long time to be like, we knew we needed to do a video every week, but we made everything else a priority. And no, we could have found time, and we could have done it earlier, and we could be a lot better by now, but we're starting now, and that's all that matters. So just start, just do it, and you'll figure it out as you go. And yeah, it'll be a little bit embarrassing and uncomfortable and not perfect. Watching last week's, I was like, something like, and like, Ryan, you should cut that out more. But whatever. I'm trying my best here. And today I'm really trying to bite my tongue and not use like as much, but that's the only way to get better at it. And it's okay.
Yeah, well, each week it's going to improve the quality.
Hey, don't say that. It might get worse. So you're putting a lot of pressure on me by saying it's going to get better each week.
Each week it might get better.
There we go.
The other thing is you build your identity over time. You build what people see as you. So if you only post one photo or one video or one blog post, anyone seeing that builds an understanding of you and your brand, if it is a brand or just your personal self. And if you have 10 posts, then they can reference those 10 things to decide what they think about you. Or if you have 100, eventually the more you put out there, the more it actually reflects who you actually are and your opinions.
Definitely. That's one of the big reasons we started this, is we want people to feel like they know us just by listening to us talk and getting a feel for our energy and our vibe and what we're about and what's important to us. And our journey doing this with, no guide or experience, and figuring out along the way, not being perfect, and maybe give other people permission to do the same with whatever it is. Just don't open a gym down the street. We're all good. We want to see everyone do well. That just ties back to that. Yeah, we want people to, no one's going to know what you're about if you don't post frequently. And you have the best thing in the world. If no one knows about it, it doesn't matter. You can't impact anyone or help anyone or do the things you want to do if no one knows about it.
Yeah. Very true.
For so long, I was always, we gotta have the best gym first. We gotta have more equipment before we post like photos. And I could have posted way more initially at the start, and it would have been awesome to document it more and more. People look back and be inspired, because they see we didn't start with much. But I was always said, I don't have a camera, I don't have, I'm not a photographer, it's not good.
Yeah,
don't
the
put
gym
it out.
doesn't look full enough. I don't want to take photos with some old equipment or secondhand equipment. It needs to be perfect and better lighting.
But looking back, people would have been like, oh, this guy's trying, he cares. It's only in the last 2 years that we put it out there that people sort of know what it's about just through looking at it.
Yeah, I mean,
and
just
especially since you've come on board. But I get criticism I didn't like what you posted, or that's wrong. And it was hard. I just had to do it anyway. I was like, I'm not going to please everyone here, so I've just got to post it. And for ages, I let people saying that it was wrong. I knew I was going to get criticism because everything had to be perfect. You couldn't post anyone unless their form was completely perfect. You can't post that. But that was way more detrimental than just posting the absolute perfect thing every 3 weeks, than just posting, a few times a day or once a day even would have been a lot better than what we did in the past. And that shift in mindset has been massive since you've come on board. Whereas I'd send you something to post, hey, are you happy with this? What's the caption? Yeah, awesome. I really like that. You could nitpick it and no, we could spend a few hours trying to do it, and then maybe it would get posted 3 days later. And so no, it's good. Just post it. I like what you're saying. Yeah. It's good. Don't overthink it. Let's go. I'm awesome. Yeah. And I've had to get used to doing that, because before in the past, why'd you do that? I'm so what? If no one knows, nothing matters. Best gym in the world. No one knows about it. No one's coming in.
Exactly.
Anyway, just a tangent there.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no. On that, sometimes I would get messages from you saying what do you think of this? Does it make sense? And you'd sort of ask me so many questions about it, and I would be just back yourself. Just post it. If you think it's good, then I'm happy with it. Yeah. I don't even need to see it. You could just post it yourself without even telling me, and I'm happy with it, as long as you think it's good. Well,
I had to shift that mindset to, so I know it's good, but in the past I've had to deal with that criticism and honestly it was a completely wrong mindset around posting and building your brand. And the content's gotten way better, even myself, taking photo, I'm not a photographer or anything. I've learned from you. That's how our relationship started. Yeah, and it was just doing it. Exactly. It's only going to get good from doing.
There's no better way to improve than just by doing it.
Yeah, and do it, and then get the criticism, then take it on board, then make it better next time. But don't not post it.
Similar to what we said in our last podcast, the people who are right about things have been wrong a lot of times, and the people who are good at something have failed at that thing a lot of times as well. Just going back to my videos as well, I've made a lot of really bad videos. Yeah. I look at them now and I'm like, why would I post that? That is so bad. I can't believe I edited it that way. I can't believe I spoke like that. But
you can't delete that.
I wouldn't have the following that I have now if I didn't post it. Yeah. It's part of the process.
And people love looking back on that. If they know you, they're like, let's go look at this. Sometimes let's look at the first video.
You want to see where they came from. It's how did they start? What did they? You don't want to see a perfectly presented photo or video and then go back to the start and it's just always been like that.
Unless you're looking at your Instagram.
It's not even good.
You scroll through the 30
Mine-
photos and it's perfect.
Mine's not even that good.
It's nice.
But,
it is nice.
Yeah.
I enjoy
Like,
it. Anyway, go on.
just the other day, we were looking for old photos of the gym where it didn't look good, so we could make a before and after of how far it's come. And there was barely any. There's like hardly any photos of what it originally looked like.
And I definitely regret that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple and those couple were like, wow, that's amazing to see this photo and to where it's come today. It's like, oh, I wish we had photos of like every angle of the gym. So it's like, imagine if we had taken the quantity of content that we did now back then. It's like how much we would have.
Yeah, and you build on that too. Like you can repost one thing, 6 months later, and then it's compounds over time that you have so much stuff that you can reshare things that were good that you posted. It could be a quote, it could be a tip on an exercise. Like people aren't going to remember everything you do, so you can. It's fine to repost that heaps of times.
Yeah,
and the more you post, the more easy it's gonna be because you have that content there.
Yeah, honestly, I have planned in the past to just repost an old thing, and by the time I actually get round to the time that I was going to repost it, I have had so many new ideas that I don't even need to reuse the old content. I can just come up with new content.
Yeah.
I think it's fine to reuse old stuff if you can think of absolutely nothing else, but honestly, by the time you get around to doing it, you'll probably have thought of 10 other things at least.
Yeah.
So you don't even need to reuse your old content, or you can change it.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's just obviously you don't post the same. You don't repost something the same thing and be like flashback and do the exact same thing. But for stories where it's like really consistent and you want to be really getting in front of people, then that's where it can be really handy.
Yeah.
Like stories, especially like educational things. So, oh my God, that was awesome. Like I really like that and I agree with that.
Definitely.
Repost it. That's fine. But yeah, with other things, you don't want to be doing that. Like,
Depends
we're
on
not going to repost our first the same video again on YouTube.
Depends on the format.
Yeah, it depends on the context really.
Yeah,
what
definitely. Like TikToks, Twitter posts, stories, you're definitely going to reuse them probably. But yeah, your bigger key pieces like your Instagram posts, your Facebook posts, and your YouTube videos, obviously probably not going to reuse them. We're becoming marketing experts now. Gary Vee.
We're a marketing agency. Yeah, but these are just things we've learnt along our journey, and it's been awesome to have Ryan here and learn from him because he's already got so much experience with the videos, with his 4-wheel driving YouTube channel. Like they're so well produced, it's awesome. Like
it's hard to do it by yourself. It's definitely easier in this format with another person.
Yeah.
Or even if you're operating the camera and filming someone else.
Yeah, it's awesome to share that, have someone to share the passion with. Like some days I'll come in and I'll be like flat, I don't have anything. I'm like, what do I do today? What can I work on? This is nothing. And then Ryan will come in, we overlap for a few hours a day, and then we'll have a chat and I'll be like, we'll talk about an idea or something we can do, and then like, what can we do today? And then it will flow and we'll just have a conversation, and then we'll be talking for a while. I'm like, oh, we can do this and this, and like, oh, imagine that, and the energy bounces off each other, and then we're getting excited about things we can do. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, had to share that with someone, like it can really get that energy up, especially
it
when it's
always
slow.
snowballs. Every single time we talk about an idea, it always goes somewhere else. It never just stays on that one.
Yeah.
So it's just the importance of just starting to talk about something or starting something at all.
If you can find a person to share it with, I think that's really valuable. Keeping motivated as well, because you've got that person to keep you accountable, and like you don't want to let them down. They're working hard, they're taking responsibility, they're putting things in. You don't want to let them down. You want to support them, and then the ideas will come. And you need that feedback. You need that outside of external criticism and influence, because you might see something a certain way and you think it's awesome, and then like, but it may not work because of this and this. Like, oh, that's a really good point. What if we did this instead? And then you've got you're going to have this bias towards your own ideas, and if you can have that person who, they've got the best intentions for the business and going forward, but they can see things differently than how you may be seeing them, because we all have our biases towards things. I'm biased towards plants, and you're biased towards, I don't know.
I'm biased towards neatness.
Neatness, and that's rubbed off on me really well, as you can see looking around the office. I was just thinking that before. I wish we documented the office like from Bong Dungeon to what it is now. That's a joke, guys. No, it was never a Bong Dungeon.
It could have been mistaken for one though.
It could definitely be mistaken for one. The Bob Marley poster and the PlayStation and the big TV on the wall. Can you relax, man? You're working so hard. Got to play PlayStation for a few hours a day. It's only fair.
I think with what you just said, having someone to bounce ideas off, it's also I think super important not to go too far in that direction. So it's really good to have 1 or 2 or 3 people you bounce ideas off, but any more than that and it can just get convoluted and cloudy and your idea just gets destroyed and twisted too many different ways, and then it eventually just turns into something that you don't even want anymore.
You lose that confidence because you've had too much input to different people. You can't decide on anything. You're like, oh, I don't know now.
Yeah.
And then that you get analysis paralysis from just too many inputs. Like 2 is perfect. Like you've said, and I completely agree. There's no way we're ever getting anyone else involved here because it's just you don't get shit done.
I mean, employees, yeah, definitely. Other directors, I think. Yeah, just with anything really, you just ask for too many different people's inputs and you get too many different answers. You want just 1 or 2, maybe 3 sometimes if you're still indecisive after 2. But I think you never really want more than 3 people having like a big say in the decision-making process, depending on what it is and depending on what area you specialize in.
Yeah, and I've got friends who've been influencers in this business, and they've helped a lot. And they go ahead and do something like, well, why did you do that? You should have done this. You should have spoken to me. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get shit done here. We don't have the time to. Trying to do all these different things. I don't have the time to be going and asking for your feedback. Like, and it's nothing personal at all. Yeah. It's just you got to get done. Maybe we'll make mistakes. It's nothing personal at all. Like you've just got to do things and figure it out as you go.
It's a huge factor in how long things take as well. I mean, we try and get things done fast. Like we are trying to grow and we're trying to do it as quickly as possible. Even something just like ordering these shirts can take, it can take a couple of weeks if you get too much input on it. It's like first you come up with the idea, email a few different places for some prices on their blank stock to find out what you're going to be paying before you get it embroidered. So like you send those emails out, it takes 2 or 3 days to get them back. So there's 3 days already. You then
if it's in Australia, probably 2 weeks
to get the email back. 100%. Yeah, it can take a long time just for that. And then it's like, okay, now what stocks do they have? So they have this brand, this brand, this brand. So then I got to choose between those brands. It's like if I want to actually see them in person and feel them, half the time they don't even send out samples. So I have to go to them to have a look at it or find it in a shop somewhere to check a sample. But that's easily a day if you want to do that. And then you got to decide what color you want the embroidery, what size you want it, what shape, what font. And it's like, okay, so I can decide that right now or do like a little mock-up. It's like, okay, so now I'll check with Oren, see if he's happy with that. If he's not, we'll redesign it, we'll chat, that's another day. But then if I were to then go ask a third person for their input, it's like now they've got a completely different input. So it's like it adds another day to the process. So maybe they don't like the color that we chose, that we already decided on. So now we're actually going back a step and taking even longer to decide, make all these decisions. It's like each person you add in the process, in the decision-making process, like it's just gonna take longer and you're gonna probably even move back steps if you haven't already got a system in place where, I mean, it's different if it's like a company where it goes through multiple people in a specific order and they each make a decision about a specific
and they're
thing.
right there and then you can just do it. All right.
Yeah.
And that's their job. They're right there. You can just do it.
Yeah. But when everyone's got input on the entire project, that's when it becomes a problem, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. Well, especially when speed is like your priority, just to get things done and move on to the next thing and figure it out as you go. you don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
and then all of a sudden it's taken you 3 weeks before you've even ordered this shirt that you wanted, that you decided on the day, like, oh yeah, I want to order this right now. And then it's taken 3 weeks, and then it takes another 2 weeks to get to you. So it's like, you know, a month and a half, or even like 2 months from the day you decided you want it till when you actually get them. That's if it moves along fast and it gets delivered on time and it doesn't get delayed due to COVID.
So I guess now people will know why it takes us so long to get apparel in, and I hope they understand that. Because they're always like, are you getting shirts? And I was like, yeah, like we have all these ideas and we want to build it. It's just a matter of priority, and obviously financially as well. Like, we'd love to have 10 products. Like we've got all these things ready to go, but it's just a matter of priority and time and where will we place the energy. And eventually that's a massive goal, is to get right into the apparel. And like, you know, we both have creative inputs, and we've got good people around us with really awesome ideas and creative inputs as well. So we know that this brand could really turn into and be known as an apparel company as well. Just people like our stuff, they want to wear it. We've had awesome feedback. Like, most people here are pretty much, I would say 90% of people here have bought a t-shirt and they get around it. And some people have got multiple t-shirts. Like, I really want another one in a different color, but I've already got so many already. I'm like, that's fine. Like, if you want it, that's cool. But like, which is awesome. Like, people who don't even go to our gym will get a shirt and wear it to another gym. We know there's potential there, but again, it's just a matter of where you put your time and deciding what is the most important thing right now will benefit the most amount of people. And that'll always be our number one priority until we get to a certain point, will always be making the gym better, and the experience of training here, and the culture and the equipment. I guess just the brand and like what it means to train here, and more like the mental health and mindset, and how that all impacts one another. That's sort of more important.
That kind of ties in with time management, which is another massive thing. So even just something which should sort of be a small thing, which is the apparel, which is not obviously anything to do with our main business. I mean, like Rowan said, we do want to go in that direction, but really we're not focusing a lot of time on it right now. We're doing it here and there, and can take, you know, 3 weeks worth of back and forth with different people to get something ordered. It's like that takes away from other things that you're trying to get done. So you really want to prioritize and work on your big projects, and then just fit these little projects in and around in your downtime. You don't want to get here first thing in the morning and be like, all right, let's get these shirts ordered. Like,
Number one.
It's like, that can wait, because that's going to be some back and forth. I already know it's going to be, you know, back and forth with the printing company, back and forth with the actual...
Don't worry about the bathroom.
Yeah.
Keep that dirty. We need these shirts ASAP.
Yeah, it's like, I'll clean the gym later. I'll go say hello to people and sign someone up after I organise what's being printed on this shirt. It's like, you focus on your main things first, and then in your time around that's when you work on your sub projects. So you have to understand what is your main project and what's your main goal, so that you can work on that primarily, and then do these other things in your time around that, because there's so many things that we want to do here that there's physically not enough time to do all of them. So we could easily get caught up in all side projects and sub projects, completely forget about, you know, 10 other things that we want to do. So super important to remember what your actual main goal is, because otherwise it is possible, and it's actually quite easy to completely forget about it and just get caught up in little things.
On that note, side project jumpers coming soon. Actually are.
Yeah, we
did. Get ready.
We did spend a few hours yesterday ordering some jumpers.
They're gonna be sick.
We can take that back to not even running a business or anything like that, just personal life, just starting something and doing it consistently until you get good at it. Like, even just training, going to the gym. You just got to start going 3 days a week. And then once you get good at that, you add in a 4th day. Once you get good at that, add in a 5th day. You can't just start with 5 days a week. Every training session is perfect. You take your pre-workout, you take your intra-workout.
Stepping into the unknown by starting something new. And it's not going to be perfect that's been saying that multiple times, but it's so true. It's not going to be perfect. Just start, and you will learn to enjoy it. After a period of time, like if you're doing it consistently for 3 months, there's a very good high chance you're going to really enjoy it, and it will just be something you do, and it's part of who you are, and it won't become such a chore. But initially, you just have to have faith that, hey, I might like this. This might be good. I know it will be good for me. You know that for sure.
It's so rewarding to have created something as well, and to be consistently doing something. And it's so easy to stop. It's so easy to just stop at any point and not continue. But if you can just do it, not perfectly, but like 50% of the time, 60% of the time, 70% of the time, you're going to get amazing results.
And just start with that 3 days. And have that plan. Okay, if you know your schedule, you know your work schedule, you know where your other commitments lie, you can say, okay, on this day, I do this, and I do this. So on Monday is my training day, Wednesday is my training day, and Friday is my training day. And I have a gap in between, and put that into your calendar. Get a calendar on your phone, write down somewhere, wherever that may be, just put it in there. Okay, I have to do this then, non-negotiable. And eventually we'll just flow, and we'll become easier, and we'll come back to, it will become part of who you are and just what you do, and it will be habit. But habits don't just form out of nothing. You have to have faith that you can do it.
You have to build the habit.
Yeah, you have to build the habit.
And it's hard.
But just start thinking you can do it. And that was something I was really interested in that I was listening to last night, and just a way of like speaking to yourself that will help you make the right choices is telling yourself every time you do something, even if you can't stop doing it, say, I'm choosing this. I'm choosing this. Every time you're doing something, okay, I'm choosing this. Like, I'm choosing to sit at home and waste my time watching Netflix, eating bad food. I'm choosing this. And also, then you're not judging yourself as well, and you're not perpetuating that negative state of like, oh, I'm doing this, oh, why do I keep fucking doing this? And sort of getting angry at yourself, which isn't really helping in a way. It's like, I'm choosing this. And then when you realize that, you create, all right, well, I can choose to do different. Like, everything you do is a choice.
Become aware of your choices and then take responsibility.
Literally everything is a choice, instead of saying, oh, I'm doing this because of this and I'm a victim, and saying, no, I'm just choosing this. This is where I'm at right now, and that's okay. And then eventually you're going to be like, all right, this isn't helping me, I'm going to choose differently. So you're going to be happy with where you're at, because you're like, oh, I'm happy, I'm okay with what I'm doing now, but I am choosing this, and now I want to choose to do differently, because I'm not a victim, I'm choosing this. I have chosen this. It's not because of my circumstances. I have chosen this. Do you know what I mean? Is what I'm saying making sense?
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I was listening to this last night, and it was this guy speaking. I was like, holy fuck, I had this epiphany. I was like, whoa, holy fuck, what else can I choose that's actually good? And then you're not going to be so depressed or angry or upset at yourself when you aren't doing what you're doing. I was like, I'm choosing this, and that's okay. I'm going to actually enjoy what I'm doing, but slowly you'll choose differently, because you'll be like, I'm choosing this.
Yeah, I think a person who does something 50% good all the time is going to get further than someone who's like a all or nothing sort of person. It's like, if you allocate your time 100% perfectly for an entire week, like, you can't keep that up unless your sleep was also perfect and your diet was also perfect. And
this is something we've both been guilty of.
Yeah.
And then a month later we're like both fucked, unhappy, tell we don't want to be here. Affects everything, affects the energy in the gym. People say hello, and you're like, hey mate.
Yeah.
Like, and we're like, let's fucking do it.
Yeah,
and we've definitely been guilty of that, and you pay for it later. It's like, find that balance and allow yourself to get there over time.
Yeah, like trying to do everything perfectly, but then when one thing goes wrong, you're just like, oh, well, the whole week's wasted now, so I'm just not going to do anything for the rest of the day. Or you could have just been like, yeah, I ate Macca's for breakfast, but I'm going to follow it up with a better lunch, and I'm going to get some cardio in today. And just fixing it as you go and doing it like 50 or 60% good. You do that all the time, it's going to be so much better for you and so much more beneficial than being like all or nothing. And as soon as you mess up for the day, you're like, oh, fuck it then. I'm just going to eat a whole bag of Doritos go and get takeaway because I already had a bad breakfast this morning and forgot to train. Or it's the same with creating the content as well. It's like, oh, I forgot to post like yesterday when it was scheduled to, and I didn't like follow these people and reply to these comments. It's like, oh, you know, just let it go then, because this is just annoying me now, so I'm not going to do anything for the rest of the day. It's like, if you had it just been like, oh, I forgot to post at the time I was supposed to, but I'll just post now to catch it up and it'll be fine. It's like, it doesn't have to be 100%
No one else is going to notice.
all the time.
Only you notice that.
Yeah.
Like no one is noticing when you don't go to the gym, or is going to make you feel bad about it. Like some people might come in here, I haven't seen them for a while, and they're like, they look. I'm like, how you been? Like I haven't seen you in a while. Like, and they're guilty about it.
Yeah,
And,
like some people
I'm
seem
like, dude, I'm not
embarrassed
here to
about it.
make you feel guilty. I'm just glad you're here now. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Like, you're back here now. Start now. Don't worry about the past. Like, that has nothing to reflect with what you're doing now. You could fucking train for every week for the next year, and it wouldn't matter. You're here now. So if you haven't been in a while, and you're coming in and you think I'm gonna like, oh, why haven't you been training, and try and make you feel guilty, and it's not gonna happen. Just do it. Don't worry about other people thinking about it, like your losses or what you're not doing, and no one gives a fuck. No one cares what you're doing, really. They're doing their own thing, and everyone's just trying to be their best.
Don't let like one bad thing snowball into multiple bad things. I'm definitely guilty of that myself in the past. Like, I'll miss Monday's training session because I'm busy at work or something. And then Tuesday I'll come around and be like, oh, I'm already a day behind. Like, what's the point in even like eating my meal prep? I'll just go get something better, and then it just snowballs. Whereas if you just catch it up, it just so like, okay, I missed yesterday, so I'm going to make up for it by training properly today.
I'll wait till Monday. It's been a bad week of eating because I've had Macca's 2 days in a row now. So fuck
it's like,
it.
okay, so starting from next week, it's going to be good.
I haven't done my meal prep, so I'm just going to get Macca's again tonight, and we'll start again next week. Next week's where it starts. It's always another time.
Yeah.
And we're all guilty of it with certain things.
It's so easy to fall into that.
Yeah. Just start with one thing to do that. To start that. Doing things consistently. And that's why I always say start with the gym. I'm a bit lost now. I don't know what I want to do. I'm feeling a bit stagnant. Like, I'll have a conversation with people in here. There was a good friend I was talking to yesterday was saying that. I'm like, just get on top of your training, bro. Don't worry about it. You'll get there. You'll figure it out. Stop dwelling, because that dwelling is just perpetuating that victim mentality of, oh, it's not going well, I'm doing this. I keep self-sabotaging. Don't worry about it. Just come in, get your training in order, have fun with it, try and eat better. Start now. Start again now. Keep starting. Keep starting.
Yeah, like don't even start tomorrow. Like start right now.
Yeah.
You don't lose your muscle. You don't lose your fitness. I mean, like a little bit maybe, but it will come back faster the second time around if you haven't trained in a while, or if you...
And it's so mental. Like I keep saying, I've been sort of injured for a little while now, and I can't train the way I want on certain things. Like I can't bench press, and that's always been my favourite thing to do, and I can't do that very well. I can't do that without pain really, unless it's really light, and I haven't, because of that, I've sort of fallen off with the intensity of other things. Always when I train, I am training to a certain degree with intensity, but also not doing things that could be helping me. But I haven't lost that many gains at all. Like I still pretty much look the same. Like maybe lost 1 or 2 kilograms. Like, but it's nothing crazy. And I'm still coming in, and I'm still training 4 or 5 times a week. And maybe it's not the same intensity with what I'm doing, but I've barely lost anything. Like everyone's like, oh, I'm set back so far, I've got to start all over again. It's like, you're not starting all over again.
Yeah.
It's just part of the process. It's not going to be 100% all year round. You're going to have times where there's other priorities, other things come up in your life. Just do what you can with what you have now. Yeah, is the main point of that. And don't worry about where you were, and you'll get. Even if you were doing good and you've fallen off a bit, you can really quickly get back to where you were and then start improving from that point. It's not like you're once at this high point and you can never get back there because you haven't kept it up. It's like there's still memory there. Your body will get back there. It's like you'll quickly get back to that point, and then from there you will continue to grow. So I thought, because I'm not benching, my chest would have atrophied, but it hasn't really. It's like
Well, you've still
barely
been-
been not. It's like it's pretty much maybe slightly, but barely. I've really almost looked the same.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed any difference at all in your chest. And then even then, it's like once you're building back up now, like you're starting light and going back up, and once the pain goes and you start pressing again, like it'll come back so fast.
Yeah.
You'll be back to where you were, and then you'll be growing again.
Yeah, and it's just
So
what you
nothing's-
tell yourself around that, because
Yeah.
there'll always be reasons that you'll find for why not to do things. Like naturally, we're wired to find the problems and the reasons not to do things, and that's just normal and natural. And a lot of your friends will be the same, so you've got more permission to keep doing that. So you've just got to step out of it and stop waiting for the perfect time or moment to do anything. And those stories, you just need to break out of them.
Yeah.
So many people are just like, that's not who I am. I'm not someone who goes to the gym. I'll never have a good physique. I'm like, you haven't even tried. It's like, oh, my genetics are bad. I'm naturally skinny. No, you're not. You just haven't even tried. You've never eaten properly for a period of time. You've never trained intensely for a period of time. You've never done all these things. It's like, we are all so much more capable than we are now. Than not lifting. Like everyone
Yeah.
just gets surprised. That's why gym can be so powerful.
Yeah.
Because people see themselves in a certain way. Oh, I'm skinny and I'm weak, and that's just how I've been. It's like your body's never been forced to change because
Yeah.
you've never put it in that position to do that.
And never
Like,
for a period of time
yeah.
as well.
It's like you haven't give it 6 months of training hard and eating well, and you transform your body.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone, and even people who are already training, like there's so many things you could be fixing already. Food, sleep, training, and it would make a big difference. And we're all guilty of that on some level, on something. It's the same thing with starting this. Like, I'm not someone to talk in the camera. I stutter. I say like a lot. I can't do this. Who am I to tell people what to do? No, we're not perfect at it by any means.
Same
We're
with
trying
me.
to figure this out as we go.
I'm naturally really introverted. I don't talk much at all unless someone talks to me. But here I am just talking for half an hour straight. It's a long game.
That's why this is really good, because people can get a feel for you
Yeah.
without having, massive long conversations. They can come in and know what you're about. And same with me as well. But never take that personally.
Plus, this is
Like,
my way of like working on it as well.
yeah.
So it's the same with training, same with the content production.
Yeah.
It's like always just working on making everything better, every aspect.
Yeah, it's awesome. And if you base that on past evidence of yourself, then you may not have ever started this. You're like, oh, I'm just naturally a quieter guy. Like in high school, everyone say, oh, he's cool. Like he doesn't talk much. He's very to himself. Doesn't talk. Sort of known as that. You could have just kept to that and never made videos. But you said, no, I do have things to say, and maybe starting on camera might be the step, like you said, that stepping stone to breaking out of that and doing things that you couldn't do that you wouldn't have done before.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like the complete opposite type of person
Yeah.
that should be doing that.
Yeah, and you're just content on your own, doing your own thing. And what'd you say? Like you just content, like you don't feel the need to talk sometimes, and that's like.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's sort of a different conversation. But I mean, like some people are uncomfortable with silence. Some people aren't.
Yeah, and
I'm definitely not uncomfortable with silence.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. People want to think, oh, is he socially anxious? He's not talking. It's like, I've always just felt the vibe of he's just chilling. He's doing his own thing. Like, he doesn't have anything to say or want or need to say anything. And so many people always feel like they have to speak or say something.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're just like, well, is he okay? What's wrong? I was like, no, he's just chilling.
Yeah, yeah. I
Don't judge it.
I definitely wouldn't describe myself as anxious. Like I'm never anxious about anything. I'm just
You're my rock.
yeah. I'm just like I don't know. I'm of the opinion that I don't need to say much, but if I do, it will be something of quality.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to spew a lot of words out.
When you talk, it's like, oh, he's talking. What is it? Let me absorb it. And it's always, I might be like, oh, this happened, or fuck, this is out to get me, or whatever. And Ryan's like, yeah, just relax, bro. And I'll just get a bit of clarity from that.
But in saying that, that's definitely not a bad thing that we're different in that way. that works. That works for us, not against us. Being different personalities.
Yeah, as you said in the last episode, just like play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it might be super uncomfortable for you to like go out and try and say hello to everyone just for the sake of it. Sometimes it's really hard for me as well, but I'm better at that. So it's okay. You don't have to do that all the time. Don't force it too much. Like let it come organically. So when you do have those conversations with people, like you said, it is meaningful and it means something. He's got nothing to say, so he's not saying it. But also working on that as well. Finding that medium of just not, I don't talk, so I won't, because then you miss out on other things too. Yeah. And maybe I'm the opposite, and I talk too much. We all do need to try and practice caring, like when someone walks in here and you're like, how's your day, like not just like saying on autopilot just for your own self-benefit to seem like you care. Actually, how are you, like, are you good? Like, how was your day? It was like, oh, what are you training, like taking interest in the training, how's your training going, like taking a genuine interest. And that's probably one of the things that people really appreciate here is we'll take an interest and we'll actually care. And it's not just going to be someone you don't know and there's no interest in what they're doing. Yeah, definitely. It's not just like, oh, this person's paid to do this and maybe he'll get a pay promotion. It's like, that it's definitely not the case. We're just trying to build that culture in of people caring. And then that rubs off on them. Like they get involved in other people's training. And it's like, hey, how are you doing? Like, how's your training going? That's where you start. And then maybe you speak about other things going on in their life. That's what I want it to be. So like, that's what I mean. I'm talk to someone, it'll be like a genuine interest. It won't just be like a, oh, what are you up to this weekend? It's like, oh, cool. Okay. See you later. Yeah. You want it to be like a genuine interaction. Saying that. And that doesn't, a lot of people will just think, speaking to me, that I'm just naturally like that. It's like, at the start, it felt like a chore, like so much energy. It was harder because it felt forced and it wasn't as authentic and it felt harder, but naturally over time I've genuinely taken a lot more interest in a lot more different people and I want to help people and sort of teach the things that I've learned that have helped me. Yeah, it's good. And then it's you get energy from doing it. You're not like forcing and draining your energy by doing it. And if I don't feel that way, I just try not to do it. Do it because you want to and you care. And sometimes you just got to do yourself and take your time to yourself and then come back and then you can give more and do more and be more. Yeah. But don't try and force everything. And I can feel that if someone comes in here and they just want to get the training in, they want to put the headphones in, they're just there to get done. You go like, so hey mate, that's it. What do you think? It makes for such a better environment at the gym because even for me, like working here, it's sometimes you're walking around and you're just like this is my business and I'm just like hanging out with some people like training. Yeah, I love we got some cool people here. Like I want to talk to these people. They're like my mates. Like I don't even feel like we'll get to our weekend. Because we'll alternate, so we'll take every second weekend off. I go, like, I've had my social interaction. I've seen a lot of my friends and members here, and now I just need to have time to myself. But it's like I like these people. A lot of them are cool. They've got the good things to say. Like we do actually have an interest in what you're doing, and it's fucking awesome to have some sort of input on their life. And, Yeah. And you can't buy that, and that's the thing that I realised with all these competitors coming in. Massive corporate gyms with all the money in the world and like, oh, you see their ads popping up and you get anxious like, oh no, they're gonna take everything. No, like relax. Like other gyms have come in and it hasn't impacted us at all because what we have and what we are and what we're about, you can't buy it. It's just you can't buy that at all. It's like there's a reason people come here, like, and it's not because we have a sauna or we're 24 hours. Like, I think if that's the reason you're spending your time at a place, that's wrong. You already set yourself up for failure. You're just there out of convenience. So all right, I'm gonna have a shit schedule. Well, unless you're a shift worker, that's fair enough. You need that. But most people who just want the convenience, it's like, well, I'm just going to train whenever I want and not create any schedule. I'm like, that's not good. It's almost good to have hours that you have to train within. Like, oh, I'm just going to train it at 2 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm like, you may as well be going out. You're just fucking your sleep schedule. Plus, it's not going to happen. Like, you may say that, but you're never going to do that. Yeah, and I've had people who've left this gym because they say they need 24-hour, and actually I know that these people, I'm like, you barely work, you're at home, you've got you're just procrastinating, and you're literally wasting your time. I know you work 10 hours a week. Like, I understand that, and I don't want to make you feel guilty or anything, but I said this to him. He's like, oh, I'm going to go to Jets because it's 24 hour. And I was like, man, like, is that actually helping you? Like this, like,
Just
I get
giving yourself
you're
another
working a little bit
excuse.
and you're at uni. I'm like, he was like, yeah, I want to train later. So I'm like, how is that helping you? Because your schedule's not good at the moment, man. Like, you need to come in at a consistent time and make it a routine. And having the option to train absolutely any time of the day is not good for you. And if that's your priority, your focus is on the wrong things.
Yeah.
It really is not in the right on the right things. It's like the things you should be asking yourself is, does it have the equipment I need? Am I supported? How do I feel when I walk into the building? This should be well before it's 24 hour. I'm like, you don't fucking work that much. You do not need 24 hours. That if those are your priorities, then something's wrong. Something is wrong, and that's one of the reasons we could have made it a higher priority on 24 hour long ago, but it's not really who we are and what we're about. Like, let's just try and get everyone. It's like the people who are going to come because it's 24 hour, unless they're shift workers, that they've already set themselves up to fail because like, I can't come here because it's not 24 hours. Like, your mindset's already wrong.
In a way, it's almost just giving you another excuse not to train.
Yeah, it is.
It's straight after work, you're a bit tired, you're on your way home, you're like, oh, I should really go to the gym. Like, oh, it's 24 hours. Like, I'll go home, I'll go have some dinner, I'll get refreshed, I'll have my pre-workout, and then I'll go in at like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to do that.
It's too late.
You're not going to do it. You tell yourself, but you're not going to.
And that's one of the awesome things is like you get to 9 p.m. here and there's maybe one person and they're finishing their session. Like, it's pretty much dead by 8 o'clock. Like, if you want an empty gym, come in at 7:30 and you got everything to yourself, which is quite rare. Even a lot of gyms, when it's late, you'll still see heaps of people. But yeah, it is a complete excuse. It really is an excuse, the 24 hour that you're just giving yourself.
Yeah.
On that note, we will go 24 hour by the end of the year.
Yeah. Also,
because it is good and it'll be good for us too to not have to be here all the time. And
there is people that will genuinely benefit from it.
Yeah, there are. We do want to cater for those people who are shift workers and they do need that. And some people who start work early and they want to get up at 4 a.m. and get to the gym at 4:45. Like, we do want to cater for you too. So we will get there, but ask yourself the question, do I really need 24 hour? Do I really need these things? Like, if you're always waiting for these little things to be perfect, then you won't start or do it.
Yeah. You should go on your phone right now and check your screen time. And if it's like above 3 hours, you don't need a 24 hour gym.
You're fucked. You're fucked. In that case, we're all fucked.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, mine's probably above 3 hours.
Mine's definitely, dude. We all waste time on that.
Yeah, it's like,
don't get on TikTok.
Yeah, it's like you
just follow us and no one else.
Yeah, it's like if you're coming up with excuses why you didn't post, your videos and your photos today, or you like why you didn't get to the gym, but you spent like 2 hours on Facebook or like an hour on Instagram or something. It's like you're not managing your time well. It's going back to the gym opening up near us. So there's a new gym coming in quite close to us. There was another one recently as well. But in a way, I almost see that as like a good thing, because like they're gonna spend a lot of money on advertising, getting people to look for a new gym. At which point they're going to see these gyms, which aren't very good environments. Yeah. And then they're going to look around and see what their options are as well. And because they're in the same area as us, those people are going to see us as well.
Exactly. And so how do you decide to see it? Like, you can be paralyzed by it, like, what's the point? They've got all the money. They're going to have brand new equipment, all these things. Like, no, we're like, there's a reason people come to us, because they're sick of that.
Yeah.
And you can't buy what we have. And also, like you said, there's all these opportunities. There's going to be more attention in the area because of it.
There's like a reason why car yards all set up on the same street. It's because you don't just go to one car yard and buy a car. It's like you look at your options first. And they all on the same street, because they know that people are looking at their options. They're not going to look too far, but they are going to do a bit of research and see what's around. Yeah. So they're all next to each other.
And our membership base is like tiny, in comparison to these massive gyms, and we don't need a massive amount more to grow and to just focus on all these different things and refine what we have. And like I said, we don't need 2,000 members like these other gyms will need. Like they're going to bring, like you said, like it's a really good point, they're going to bring a lot of attention to the area.
Yeah.
And then these people are already there and they're like, oh, I'm sick of this now, let's try something new.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is around the corner.
Yeah.
This is different. And if your priority is the 24-hour, the sauna, the aircon, these are all comforts and these things don't make you grow. Those are the wrong things. You're already setting yourself up for failure before you even start, because your focus is on all these external conditions being perfect for you to progress when you don't need any of them. Like all the things that you need to progress are right there.
Yeah.
So like ask yourself why you're going to that place. Because if it's out of convenience, if it's out of
Looking for comfort.
you're training. Why the fuck do you need aircon? Do you not want to be sweating? Do you not want to get to the end of your workout, be drenched in sweat and be like, fuck, I feel awesome?
You're
like,
going to a place to physically push yourself.
Yeah. Do you need five-star showers? Like, are you going to a hotel or are you going to a gym? Like, are you going to a place that is going to push you? Do the people there care? Can you buy that? No. We're going to be sweet.
Yeah.
We're going to be sweet, brother. That's how we cheer each other up. That's how, when you're feeling a bit flat, you have a conversation and you talk about things like, fuck yeah.
Keeping your goals in mind too from the last episode. It's like that helps us.
It's all time back.
With
like
this.
all these things, we're saying the same. We're repeating the same things.
It all relates.
Because we're going to repeat ourselves, but it's because these things are important. And we want you to remember them. And these are things that are constantly have to be at the forefront of our minds for us to progress and move forward and grow and build for us and for everyone who decides to be a part of it, pretty much. And if we aren't thinking about these things all the time, we are going to slip back, because that's just human nature. If you're not aware about what you're doing and why, you're just going to be like, you're going to do what's easy, because the human body will just seek comfort. Yeah. And you need to seek discomfort. That's the point, is why are you doing what you're doing? Again, it ties back to that. And constantly got asked that all the time. Okay, and what's coming up and stopping you?
That's what's going to keep you
maybe
going.
You need to, sometimes you've got something blocking you mentally and you need to talk to someone. Like, we have an outside input that we talk to, and that puts things in perspective for us. Like, we get coached on these things too. And maybe there's something deep down there that's just holding you back, self-sabotaging you. Don't be afraid to go speak to someone. Like, I've been to speak to someone. There's no shame in it, and you're going to be lighter. And once you deal with that thing deep down that's just holding you back, and you're not happy, just try and figure out what it is, and then speak to someone and reframe it. And if you don't do that, you're just going to perpetuate that problem. Like, I can say all these things, write down this, write down that, but I'm not a psychologist. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to figure this shit out as well. Like, if you consistently keep self-sabotaging and you're not progressing and you're really trying, and you really are trying, maybe there's something deep down that's just on autopilot, that you need to go to talk to the right person and figure it out and take responsibility for it, not be afraid and about what anyone else thinks. Just fucking do it.
Remember your goals. That'll help you to start something and stay consistent with it. And even if you miss 1 or 2 times of whatever it is, you can jump straight back on the wagon. You don't have to like dwell on it and get stuck in a hole. You can just start from where you left off, and then you'll almost immediately get back to the point you were, unless it's been several years, in which case it'll take a little bit longer, but you'll still get there, and then you can start building from that point again.
Yeah. Awesome. And it's like, back to one last thing is, last episode, I watched it back and I made so many mistakes, and I made some of the things that I said may be perceived wrong, and I said heaps of times, but everything's going to be open to interpretation, and we're here today, and it went a lot smoother, and I said far less than last time, and just doing it. Like, we're not perfect. We're not perfect by any means. Like, we've all got flaws, so just do it anyway. Don't worry, and just do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
Just start.
Just start, and you'll figure it out as you go, and just have faith that you will. So if anyone else, one of the men, so one thing on the last episode I referred to young boys, like you young men.
Yeah.
So I don't mean any offense by that.
Everyone's a man.
We're all growing, and we're all men. So there's no disrespect by calling you young boys last episode.
So we'll see you in the next episode.